Welcome back to another Ask an Expert Friday. I'm looking forward to this session as well today. I've got Doreen with me today, who is an acupuncturist, and she's looking to expand her practice. I'm going to let her talk a little bit about that. But first, I just want to talk quickly about our Beauty Referral Network. And my name is Stephanie. So I thought I would just share our Beauty Referral Network, our vision and mission. So our vision here is to create a thriving beauty and wellness community where businesses and clients connect, grow, and succeed through collaboration and referrals. We envision a network that empowers businesses with increased visibility and new clients while rewarding customers for sharing trusted services and recommendations. So our mission at our Beauty Referral Network, it is designed to help businesses expand, attract more clients, and generate additional income through our innovative referral platform. By connecting businesses with engaged customers and rewarding referrals, whether for services or new businesses, we create a dynamic, results-driven community where everybody benefits. So through trust, collaboration, and shared success, we make it easy for businesses to thrive and for customers to enjoy our exclusive perks. So that's a little bit about our Beauty Referral Network. And so I'm going to let Doreen take it away here. Every Friday, we do an Ask an Expert Friday series where we bring somebody on and they share a little bit about what they do and some little tips and tricks if you wanted to get into that similar field. So Doreen, you want to tell everybody who you are and how you help people?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steph, for having me on. And I am a proud member of our Beauty Referral Network. I've been in this community for a couple of years now. So, I am happy to be here, and I believe in the values and the mission of the our beauty network. So, as I say, I'm happy to be here. So I've been an acupuncturist for the past 20 years, and I'm in a space right now where in my practice, I want to expand. I want to take my practice online. And as an acupuncturist, I can't do that. I need to see people face to face. So, as much as I love working one on one with people face to face, I also see a need to be able to support people um, in a larger capacity. So, what that means for me is I want to launch my holistic nutritional program specifically targeted for weight loss, but it's bigger than that because it's for people struggling with their weight loss. And it could be because, they're stressed and their hormones are out of whack. It could be menopausal, perimenopausal women that are struggling. And it's not a simple calories in, calories out, work harder at the gym sort of situation. It's bigger than that. Also, the younger women who are starting their menstrual cycle may be struggling with pain and cramps and headaches and all kinds of things that is not necessary. There are ways that we can balance that out. So I want to offer support in that area. On the weight loss front, there's more than, there's toxins in the environment, there's hormones, there's mindset. Mindset is a huge component to making any change in your life, whether it's new jobs, finding the perfect soulmate, weight loss, pivoting in your 50s, whatever it is. Mindset plays a big part in that. And I have certification in coaching and mentorship with mindset as well. So, I'm not done. I don't want to be done. And I want to just serve my community more because that's what makes me happy, is to make a difference for people.
That's
That's
fantastic. I
first
love
place.
it. So what inspired you to become an acupuncturist?
Way back in the day, I worked for a crown corporation, and I moved around quite a bit because I was trying to find the thing that that filled my soul, filled my boots, made me happy, and fulfilled. And I couldn't find it. So I took university classes. I changed jobs quite a bit. I was loaned to the United Way for over a year to help them run a program. And that absolutely I loved because I was making a difference in the community. So when I went back to my crown that I worked for, just I was unsatisfied. And one thing led to another, and in came reflexology. So reflexology was my gateway into alternative medicine. And I took that program and practiced on people. And then my husband was offered a job to come to BC to work for the telecommunication company here. And that was my exit out of the crown that I was at. So I went back to school, studied Chinese medicine, and never looked back. I absolutely love it.
Okay, very neat. For those that might not know what acupuncture is, could you maybe explain a little bit about what it is and what kind of conditions that it would be most effective for?
Of course. So, acupuncture is the practice of inserting very tiny needles into the body in specific acupuncture points, predominantly. That's the Chinese way of Chinese acupuncture. There's IMS that's out there, which is not on a specific point. It's not taking advantage of the meridian or the channel system, but it is putting needles in the body. So basically, when we tap into a meridian, we're accessing the connective tissue. So connective tissue has a wave-like motion in the body. Connective tissue is around muscles, in between muscles. It's in all the spaces in our body. And that is the termination, not the termination, that is the network that promotes the signaling. It's kind of like a cellular tower or a SkyTrain station route where you get on, at Waterfront, for example, and the path goes, into Surrey, and all of those SkyTrain station terminal stations are like an acupuncture point along a meridian. So we have multiple meridians in the body, and they travel different limbs. They also connect with their body organ themselves and then go to another part of the body. So it's like a route. And the stimulation encourages those organs to function properly or to bring balance. Some reduce fever, some points boost the immune system. It's endless, really, what you can use acupuncture for. The World Health Organization has a listing of, I don't even remember, but everything from pain anywhere in the body, digestive health, hormone related, painful menstrual cycles, inflammation, migraines, digestion, constipate, like it just goes on and on.
Okay, so quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
What are some misconceptions that people have about acupuncture?
I would say the big one, um, most of my clientele are Western people who are not familiar with acupuncture at all. And we didn't grow up with the idea of acupuncture or needles. Our exposure to needles have been hypodermic needles, withdrawing blood, getting, our immune shots.
Yeah.
Acupuncture needles are tiny. They're the diameter of essentially one of your human hairs. They're small and they can vary in length. So, and just because you have a needle that's an inch long doesn't mean that it goes into the body an inch. We have certain depths for various points, and that's a big part of our education. Acupuncture, by the way, is now, I believe it's a 5-year program, so
Okay.
it's not something you learn in a couple of weekends. So it's highly skilled, actually.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, are there any lifestyle or dietary changes that you recommend alongside of having acupuncture treatments?
There can be, if I'm working with someone who has, digestive trouble. It could be Crohn's, it could be IBS, it could be they're struggling with their weight. Maybe they're sensitive to wheat, gluten, and dairy. So, or maybe they suffer from constipation for forever. There are acupuncture points on the abdomen that we can access that help tonify the function of the organs that are there. If you're having digestive upset because of a particular food, I might recommend that you try it with, try your diet without that food and see how sensitive are you. Myself, I discovered I was sensitive to gluten, and I just eliminated gluten from my diet, which has made the world of difference for me, I feel. Yeah. So sometimes we need to do both. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah. Okay. And so what should somebody expect in their first acupuncture session? And I think everybody that's never had an acupuncture session is probably wondering, is it painful?
Right. And it's not. Typically, no, it's not. What you might feel on some of the points is the tiny insertion of the needle. As I say again, they're tiny, they're the size of one of your hairs. So you may feel the slight prick. After that, you don't really feel anything. What we do encourage, though, is for you, like there's no pain, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But you will feel something because we're tapping into the energy of the body. So you might feel a tingle. You might feel a slight pressure sensation. You might feel warming or like a tickle sort of feeling in your body. Some points you don't feel at all because there's more muscle. Like, for someone, for example, that's having back pain caused by sciatica, which is the sciatic nerve is irritated, you're like, that's a lot of pain, and acupuncture can be very helpful with relieving that and opening up the blockages or reducing the tension that's in the glute muscles in your butt that are going to once they release, then the pain is also released, and you can have such relief from that. Sometimes it takes a couple of treatments. Sometimes, results can happen pretty quickly.
Okay. I think the last time I had acupuncture was almost 8 years ago when I was pregnant.
Nice.
So yeah, so I had it right before I was due because I was wanting her out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna try this because my son was 3 weeks early. And so I got to that point and I'm like, why is she not out yet? Like, what's happening? And then another week goes by and almost another week goes by and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna book an acupuncture. I'm gonna try this out. And I think 2 days later she came out. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but so anybody that is curious about the pain, there was no pain. It feels weird with the needles going in, but there's no pain. I've had acupuncture before for issues in my hip from a car accident
Mm-hmm.
where there was a lot of pain, and it was a very different experience. So I understood that there's different types of acupuncture because I think, like you were saying, is it IMS you called it? Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's what they had done on my hip, and I found it quite painful, not necessarily the needles going in, but more the muscles, because
Yes.
I had so many issues. Like I had some really, really serious pains that couldn't be resolved with everything else they were doing. And so they decided to try this acupuncture method. And I think it worked because I felt relief after, but it did not feel nice.
Yeah.
But it was so worth whatever pain I went through to get out of pain.
Yeah.
So I love acupuncture. I don't do it often, but the times that I have done it, I have found it very beneficial.
Yes. Well, and one of the other things that I always incorporate into my treatments is cupping. And I'm sure some of your viewers have seen the massive purple spots on people's backs
Mm,
from cupping. And it doesn't have to be that way. I like to use a style of cupping that's sliding the cups around on the body,
okay.
which Going back to explaining how acupuncture works, where we tap into the connective tissue or the fascia, cupping stretches the fascia. It
Mhm.
also stretches the muscles, the nerves, excuse me, everything where the cup is sitting. So when you have back pain or sciatica or hip pain or whatever, I slide the cup around on that entire area. So not only am I increasing the blood flow to that area, all of the structure, all of the tissues below where the cup is being stretched as well. So
Mhm.
it's relief, huge relief. And I find that for me anyway, it's an integral part of my treatments because it is so powerful.
I agree. I agree. I've also had cupping done. As I mentioned, I dealt with a lot of pain from previous car accidents that my first one was never initially, I never actually was able to fix my body after that. I was younger. I just didn't know. I wasn't pointed in the right directions. I didn't know what I know now, basically.
Right.
But now I've been able to resolve that all, and I've tried all these different treatments, and cupping like on my shoulders was
Mhm.
so beneficial for all of like my upper shoulder area. Super, super beneficial.
I had a interesting experience with one of my clients who recently had a knee replacement. So the pain from the insertion, of the new knee affect because a piece is removed and a new piece is put in. All of the muscles that were in his upper thigh were moved into a new position. So they were stretched and tight and sore so what we did was I did cupping on his upper thigh while I was doing acupuncture to stimulate healing around the knee, the surgical scarring, and the lower leg, just to get the blood flow and the circulation happening in his whole leg. And it was remarkable just to have the cupping in the upper leg, just to relax those muscles that had gone through the trauma of his knee surgery.
Mhm.
So, again, like um, the opportunity to provide support and healing to the human body is endless. And I think the only thing that kind of holds you back is your imagination of trying something new. Like I have never, worked on somebody who had a knee replacement before, and it just made so much sense to combine the two actively while we were, usually I do cupping after because I remove the needles. But in his case, I had them higher up on his leg and it worked miracles for him, like the accelerated healing and just really reduced his tension and pain in his legs.
That's so amazing. And that definitely comes with understanding the body and how
Mm-hmm.
all the systems work, specifically, I guess, the muscles, because that's how you would have thought of that.
Exactly.
I can see why it's a 5-year training. It's not just a weekend course.
No,
What advice would you give to somebody that is looking to get into acupuncture?
I think so. What I've done, I have a second student from the Vancouver Island University here in Nanaimo. I have a student who is in the kinesiology program that is thinking about studying acupuncture when they're done. And I've actually been working with them. They're shadowing me in the clinic just to see, an inside view of what that's like. I would also recommend someone on the mainland or someone internationally. I know our beauty squad is larger than just Vancouver and Vancouver Island.
Mhm.
uh, recommend to reach out to someone who's an acupuncturist and just ask a bunch of questions. Um, or, feel free to reach out to me and I would absolutely have a conversation if you have questions about, anything about the program. I'd be happy to help.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. And we'll make sure we put all of your contact info in the description of the video as well. So people that do have questions can reach out to you anytime. And you
Awesome.
mentioned that you also helped with weight loss, right?
Yes.
That was
So
one of your areas?
yes, so twofold. One is if you're in my local area, there are acupuncture points we can use that help with weight loss. And essentially, how that works is you're stimulating the function of those organs. So,
Hmm.
the better the body breaks down the food, utilizes it, and excretes it, the better that process is. The less opportunity there is for inflammation and
Okay.
build storing of excess calories in the body. So acupuncture helps with just the function of that, but also the weight loss program itself is an 8 week more intensive weight loss program where I'm providing coaching and support in your individual, very specific calorie needs. I will do an intake and then create a program for you. I have recipes, I have meal plans, I have coaching in areas of like what is your toxic load in your body, what are your soaps and beauty products and stuff. What is that toxic load? What is your stress like? I'll give you ways to help with that. Sleep cycle really affects our weight loss as well. Hormones imbalanced will affect weight loss.
Yep.
So I'm offering a large, like I say, 8 week program where we target all of those aspects. I want to set you up for success. From a Chinese medicine perspective, let's say you have a digestive system that is slow and sluggish, and I can suggest food cures, we call them in Chinese medicine, that will help maybe improve your adrenals, the strength of the adrenals, or removing some foods or adjusting some foods, having some foods at certain times of the day that will help and support your goals. And then of course mindset and encouragement as part of that as well.
Amazing. And where are you located again?
I'm in Nanaimo, but I
I'm
have a website. I also have a Facebook presence where I'm taking what my offerings online.
okay. Very interesting.
I
So do you with the nutrition stuff, do you offer like herbal or supplements and other kind of things in that plan?
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
Yes, things. I don't carry a product line though.
You don't carry a product line? Okay.
And the reason why I didn't want to do that was because everybody has their own ideas of, well, the whey protein versus pea protein versus, whatever in a protein powder. I do have connections with a company that has a product line. I haven't made the products as part of the program. I
Okay.
I can chat about it, but it's not. I haven't incorporated it that tightly into the program because
Okay.
I want that anyway. So I want to support in the best way that I can.
Hmm. Okay. Amazing. Do you have anything else that you want to share?
Do I have anything else I want to share?
Oh, maybe what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in this career?
Good one. That's an excellent question. Being an entrepreneur, just thinking that, putting myself out there, that was scary in the beginning.
Hmm.
And with this new pivot that I'm doing, launching something new, I'm hearing, why do you want to do that? Like, just retire. I don't want to retire because I have so much more, that I want to share, that I want to put out there. So, and I love it. Like, I love it. And to go online allows me to work from anywhere. I could be on the beach and, run a session with someone, which like that makes me so happy to be able to do that. The other big challenge was the studying of, I went back to school when I was 40 and I wasn't 25. My brain was older. I had two small kids. Studying something that was completely foreign was a huge challenge, but I
Mhm.
was bound and determined to succeed and finish my program. I actually found a school that had 3 semesters a year instead of two. So I was able to finish off back then, 20 years ago, it was a 4-year program. And I finished that off in 2.5 years with two kids, 2 and 5.
Wow, that's inspiring.
So
I have young kids too.
it's very challenging with little kids. And I guess I say that not to blow my own horn so much, but it's more about it's like it's never too late.
Well, and it's sharing what's possible too. Like, I
Yes,
think I think some people are afraid to tell people their story because they've done something completely different than everybody else and maybe done something in half the time. And people are afraid to share that because they think, oh, well, nobody else is going to be able to do that. Or maybe it makes people feel bad that they can't do that. But I think it's a whole nother way of changing that perspective and sharing what's actually possible if you set your mind to something too, because a lot of it is mindset. And there's so many people that let their mind hold them back from even trying things and attempting to do things because there's too many people that are afraid to fail, I guess.
exactly. And it's easier, to sit back and go, well, I don't want to do that. And really they do. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have regrets. I
Mhm.
truly don't want to have regrets.
Yeah,
So,
too. Yeah.
yes. So,
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate this conversation, especially this last end here. That's all about like a bit of that mindset and actually getting past. And 2.5 years of a 4-year program, that's pretty darn good with two young kids.
yeah,
For any of the moms that are watching this, like know what's possible if you set your mind to something. Yes, it's going to take work. No, it's not going to be that easy, but you can do it. It's possible.
you
Like anything is possible if you let it be possible.
exactly.
I love
Exactly.
it. Okay, well let's end with that note because I really like that end to that note.
Awesome.
And then I'll make sure that all of Doreen's contact info is in the caption. So you can feel free to reach out to her if you want some services or if you have questions and if you want to become an acupuncturist as well. Or if you want to join our network, you can reach out to her and ask her a little bit more about what it's all about. Um, oh,
It's been an honor. It's been fun. Really, thank you so much.
well, thank you so much for taking your time to hang out with me. And I'm going to end our call today. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you for another session of Ask an Expert Friday.
Bye.